It's 6:01. We're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm starting to record now. And as people filter in, I know a lot of people are planning to receive the recording, but just for the sake of time, we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining us to talk today about our veterinary medicine and conservation programs. My name is Bethany, and I do our marketing and communications here at Broadreach. So if you get our emails or follow us on social media, that's all me. And here with me today, the real expert on these programs is Savannah. Savannah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Savannah. I'm the program director for the veterinary medicine and wildlife conservation programs. So it's great to be here. My connection might be a little bit unstable, so bear with me. It's kind of going in and out. But yeah, thanks for coming.
Awesome. So to just briefly introduce Broadreach, we've been around for over 30 years, running programs related to scuba diving, marine biology, sailing, veterinary medicine, and conservation. So we love what we do, running programs for young people, specifically middle and high school students. A little bit what we're going to cover today. We'll talk a bit about our veterinary medicine and conservation programs in general, what's special about our Broadreach trips. We'll briefly highlight each of our vet med and conservation trips to kind of see the similarities and differences and talk about how to maybe find the right one for you or your student. We'll go over a couple of the frequently asked questions that we get a lot. And then we'll have some time at the end for question and answer. So we did get some questions submitted previously. And then if you think of any other questions along the way, feel free to write them in the Q&A box. We may cover them before then, but if you think of something, go ahead and type it in there so you don't forget. All right, Savannah. Okay, I don't know if I'm frozen or if she's
I
frozen.
might be frozen.
Okay, I think you're back.
I think it's me. Okay. Maybe I should move.
I
I
can
honestly don't
hear
know.
you, but your
I'll try
your
talking,
screen's
and if
frozen.
you can't hear me or I freeze again, just let me know.
Okay,
Um,
I can hear you. I think it's
Maybe I'll
just me.
turn off my video.
Yeah, maybe that would
Can you hear me
help.
better now?
Yeah, I
Sometimes
can
that
hear you
helps.
fine.
Okay, I'll just, okay, I'll keep talking about Broadreach. So something I love to share with everyone is our mission at Broadreach. So our mission is to challenge and inspire skills, become better global citizens through hands-on discovery, travel, and interaction with the world's oceans, ecosystems, and wildlife. That is what drew me to.
Oh no. And we've lost Savannah. Let's see. We'll give her a second here to join in again. Sorry about this. Savannah, are you back?
Switched rooms. I don't know if you can still. I'm going to keep my camera off, but can you
Yeah,
hear me?
I can hear you now.
Maybe.
I can hear you.
Don't worry. I'm moving this way. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you.
See, I'm just going to leave my camera off so that is a little bit
At
easier.
least everyone saw your face at the beginning. They know you
Yes.
exist.
What did you hear of what I last said?
I heard that something you love about Broadreach and then kind of cut
Oh,
out.
sweet. Yes, something I love about Broadreach is our mission. So I like to share it. So our mission is to challenge and inspire participants to learn, grow, build new skills, and become better global citizens through hands-on discovery, travel, and interaction with the world's oceans, ecosystems, and wildlife. This certainly drew me to Broadreach as a previous animal caretaker and outdoor educator. And I think it really shows what we do here at Broadreach. So a lot of our learning is experiential. So students learn by doing, whether that be alongside vets or researchers. They get to observe as well as participate. So there's a lot of hours going into that. Um, for these programs specifically, there's a few niche interests, which also piques students' curiosity. So we have veterinary medicine, which involves everything from, working with wildlife to working with dogs and cats, seeing the rustic side and also the clinical side. And then our conservation focused programs, which get to show again sort of varying research techniques, working alongside researchers, animal caregivers, and experts in their field. So, along those lines, these programs are designed for students who, really want to explore those niche interests at a deeper level, whether that be veterinary medicine, wildlife biology, marine science, or conservation. Um, and I think what's great about our programs is that not a lot of prior experience is required. So students can kind of hop in with their interest and background and grow from there, which is super cool.
All right, let's talk a little bit about some of the specific trips that we offer in vet med and conservation, starting with Costa Rica vet.
So Costa Rica Veterinary Experience, I think, is one of our most popular programs in this field, and for lots of good reasons. It's a little bit longer of our trips, but it's because we're packing in a lot of hands-on experience. Like I mentioned, we work alongside animal care professionals in clinics, rescue centers, agricultural centers, horse barn, assisting with physical exams, injections, rehabilitation, diet, enrichment, all those things. And then alongside this, the students are gaining college credits, which means that they're getting sort of an academic workbook along with these hands-on experiences that really hammer home that work they're doing with their hands. We also get to do activities like necropsies. We'll see spay and neuter surgeries and help with those. We'll get to observe animals' behaviors in captivity and in clinics. And then we'll also get to work alongside vets that are in all those broad fields. Um, but as well, we also get to do a lot of Costa Rican adventures that you might think of when you think of Costa Rica. So rafting, zip lining, surfing, they get to go canyoning and visit hot springs, as well as get in some community service hours. So it is an action-packed full time of animals and fun, which is great.
Awesome. Now, our other kind of vet focused trip, Bahamas Island Wildlife Explorer slash veterinary and wildlife care.
Yeah, so this program is similar in some ways to the Costa Rica program. It's a little bit shorter, and because it doesn't have the academic component, they have a little bit more relaxed time in the evenings. So we usually do our animal care work for about 2/3 of the day. That looks like going to a wildlife sanctuary for a few of the days to learn about enrichment, animal handling, diet prep, animal care, those sorts of things, and meeting their vet and seeing the work that they do. But we also get to work with spay and neuter clinic and Humane Society for those dog and cat components, as well as a really special experience near the end of the program where we get to go to a marine mammal facility and see, how that care works with dolphins and sea lions and what their training looks like, what they're eating, and even usually get to do a small research project with them, which is super cool. Um, And so you do get a lot of that, hands-on or working around animals experience. But in the latter half of the afternoon, we have time, to hang out at the pool. We'll have time to go to the ocean and snorkel. We'll do kayaking. We get to have fun theme nights, like maybe movie night or pool parties or cake decorating. So it is like a well-rounded, like having fun, but also getting animal experience. In a few different career fields, which I think really makes this shine for students who maybe, aren't sure if they want to be a vet, but want to hang out with some animals.
including adorable raccoons.
Yes, including adorable raccoons.
And this one is cool because we have it's the only program that of these that's offered for middle and high school students. We have separate sessions, but there's two middle school sessions and a high school one.
Yes.
What about our other Costa Rica program?
So our other Costa Rica program leaves the sort of veterinary field and joins researchers on the beach. It's a nice amount of days that we spend, traveling around Costa Rica. We work with a couple different sea turtle rescue organizations. So we get to study sea turtle behavior. We'll walk the beach at night to look for mama sea turtles, will help with hatchlings and releasing those into the water, as well as collecting their, body size data before we let them go. We're doing this alongside researchers, but we're also doing this alongside locals and seeing how conservation is wrapped into the community and working from there. Um, we get to stay in some accommodations that I'll mention later. But I think this program is great, for students who are really interested in sea turtles. And then we still get to do some fun activities like some rainforest hikes, whitewater rafting, and zip lining, and getting to explore sort of the ocean side of Costa Rica.
Awesome. And now can you tell us about our newest program?
Yes. So our newest program, Malawi Wildlife Conservation, is sort of based off of my time in Malawi, but also one of our previous programs to South Africa that was called South African Predators. And this is one of our more broader wildlife conservation programs that takes place on African landscapes. So we get to start out working in a sanctuary and seeing how animals' behaviors are there, learning about wildlife trafficking. And then we go with researchers to the savannah to track lions and cheetahs, learn about camera traps, monitor elephants, and other wildlife. We get to do multiple safaris by vehicle, by foot. We'll even get to do some by horse as well. And we get to do activities with locals. We'll get to look at traditional pottery, look at late Stone Age rock art, as well as go to Lake Malawi, which is the fourth largest freshwater lake in the world, and get to see the diversity that has just exploded out of there because of that. So students will get sort of the safari research experience, as well as getting some lake experience as well. This one offers college credits, and you'll also get to do service hours as well. I think is really great for students who have always had an interest in these types of animals and want to see it in a real world setting.
Definitely sign me up for this one. I would love to go.
Me too.
All right. And what about our Amazon and Galapagos trip?
So our Amazon and Galapagos trip is another one of our conservation programs. It's about the same length as the Malawi one, a little bit longer, and we get to explore the diversity that has come from the Amazon rainforest and the Galapagos. So we'll get to see cloud rainforest, the lower rainforest, as well as the islands of the Galapagos, and get to work alongside researchers there exploring different research techniques with many various species from like fur banding to fish ID. And this one is really cool because we get to go to some of the most remote locations in the world and some of the most coveted for their biodiversity, Darwin and his finches from the Galapagos, which is really cool to see where some of our understanding of conservation and biodiversity started. Um, it's in the rainforest, so the landscapes and ecosystems are different than what you'd find in Africa. So, you know, your students' interest may lie in one of those varying ecosystems, but both will have really impactful conservation experiences and fun activities along the way.
Awesome. And then ending with our last trip is also one of the newer ones. It's been around,
Yes.
I think, a couple years.
Yeah, I think a couple of years now. So the Azores Bill and Dolphin Experience is a very unique program where we get to study marine biology in the field. Unlike the sea turtle program, this obviously is more focused on whales and dolphins, which is very cool. And we also get to do some hiking. We'll do cultural activities. We'll go snorkeling. Azores has a really cool volcanic landscape, so it is unique to itself in that. And we'll get to do a lot of whale watching and learning about how whales have been in the Azores and the heritage to that. This one also gets academic credit. So it will have a good amount of academics, but is balanced with all those fun experiential activities that the students get to do.
Awesome. How would you recommend or how do you advise families to go about choosing the right program?
I think talking to your student is definitely the first good
Mhm.
step. If they have an interest in veterinary medicine and they know that they want to be a vet, I would push them towards Costa Rica vet. If they want to learn more about animal care in general and multiple different, jobs within animal care, Bahamas, would be great. Whether that's marine conservation or broader wildlife conservation, could determine whether they go to like an Azores or Costa Rica sea turtle or Malawi or Amazonic Galapagos. So, kind of what they want to hone in on, as this is a good time to get that experience. Um, I think a lot of students go on these programs really wanting a lot of hands-on animal experience, which is variable by program. And I would probably say that the veterinary programs have the most actually touching animals experience. And that's because in conservation, a lot of the times the animals are wild that we're working with, and we won't be touching them due to safety. Um, but observing them and collecting data about them is just as important. Um, and then travel style and the environment that we will be in as well. Um, the Bahamas, we're in a house and it is, very nice on the ocean. But a lot of the other programs we're moving around, staying in various locations. And working, within rugged climates. I would say, it's hot, humid, rainy, we're in the weather. So how comfortable the student is with those things as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Um, there's created this chart here kind of comparing the different trips. I won't get into it now since for the sake of time, I want to leave plenty of time for Q&A, but I will send a PDF of this after the webinar so you can look over it and get kind of a at a glance taste of the different programs. All right, going into some of our frequently asked questions, what will you be eating? What's the food like on the program?
Food is the runner of life. So we have a lot of food on all of our programs and try to make it a large component. So when we're in the Bahamas, we stay in a house, which means we get to cook meals, which is great. We do eat out some, but students get to take turns being on cook and clean teams, which gives them some experience in the kitchen, but also, some team building skills there. In Costa Rica, Malawi, and Ecuador, we get to eat out, as well as meals are provided by our outfitters. And in the Azores, we also stay in a house. So we get to make more meals there. Because we're going to, very culturally diverse locations, oftentimes we're eating a lot of cultural cuisine, especially if it's made by our partners. So, that might look like rice and beans or some sort of starch, vegetables, and a meat. And so we have that frequently, but because we get the choice to eat out, we do get some, American options or Italian options, to kind of satisfy those tastes that we might occur when we're tired of rice and beans.
Yeah, and I will say if you have a specific dietary restriction or preference, and you're concerned about it, just let us know, talk to us, and we can give you more specific information based on which program you're looking at as to whether it's really easy to adapt to that or more difficult, and give tips to deal with that. What about sleeping? What are the accommodations like on program?
Yeah, so I kind of mentioned in the Bahamas and the Azores, we stay in a villa, which is great. They're quite comfortable. The students usually share a room. They have full kitchen, laundry, those sorts of things. And then in Costa Rica, we stay in a variety of hotels. We'll stay in one volunteer dorm and one Airbnb since we're moving around. And then in Ecuador and Malawi, we'll stay in some hotels, some research locations, as well as some camps too. So they're a little bit more rustic. Costa Rica sea turtle is also along these same lines where we stay in some hotels, but then we also stay at a research station. The research stations are variable. A couple of them, are low electricity, low running water. But that's because we're out there doing field work amongst the animals and the ecosystems. So many companies are trying to make their carbon footprint as small as possible, or are nonprofits, so do not have a lot of money to spend on those things. Um, but it gives the students a good look into what life will be like as a researcher.
Definitely. A lot of field research doesn't happen
Fancy hotel.
yeah. All right. How do students get to and from program? We have a lot of questions about travel, so I can take this one. Most students will travel independently. Depending on their age, they may be required to register as an unaccompanied minor or may choose to. I believe it's typically 14 and under or under 14. Occasionally, parents or families will opt to travel to or from a program with their student, and will coordinate a drop off at the airport, et cetera, with the staff. But as I said, most will travel independently. It's kind of a great first step into this new experience, and it helps start build some of those leadership skills and kind of personal growth skills that they'll grow throughout the program as well. Staff will be waiting to meet them at the airport. They'll have a Broadreach shirt on, so they'll be able to recognize them. And then we encourage others, the students, to wear their Broadreach shirts as well. We send everyone a t-shirt for travel day. You can see in the pictures here, the larger one is on the way going home, so no one's wearing their Broadreach shirt. But the smaller one here, we can see their Broadreach shirts there, wearing for travel day so they can help spot the other Broadreach students and staff in the airport. Um, yeah. As for logistics and next steps, we also get a lot of questions about whether the student is eligible for a middle school program or a high school program. So at Broadreach, we base the age on the grade that the student has completed in that summer. So instead of rising, whatever, it's based on your current grade if you're a student right now. So if you're currently in sixth, seventh, or eighth grade, you'd be eligible for our middle school trips. And if you're currently in ninth, 10th, 11th, or 12th grade, you'd be eligible for our high school trips. Um, there's no other real eligibility requirements in general for our programs. As far as deadlines, we get questions about if there's a deadline the students need to meet to apply. We accept students and applications as long as there's space on the trip. So this is the busiest enrollment time now. I believe all these trips currently have spots in them in some sessions. So it does change quickly from one day to the next, especially now when we're getting kind of a higher volume of applications every day. So keep an eye on the website. We update it every business day, and we'll see if there's 3 spots left, 2 spots left, or whatever. If you're ready to move forward, ready to apply, you can go ahead and apply online on our website, fill out an enrollment application. But if you have some more questions or want to talk to someone, we're also happy to schedule a call or a Zoom with you with one of our program directors. Or you can also reach out to any of us via email. And I will send you Savannah's email here in the next slide. There we go. So if you have questions specifically for Savannah about our programs, encourage you to reach out to her by email. I also want to mention that we do have a promo going on for everyone who's registered here for the webinar. So you can save $250 on any of our 2026 trips. And that expires on Sunday, so through the end of the weekend, the 25th, with the code VetCon26. And I will send that out again with the recording as well. Right. And let's see, I did get some submitted questions, so I'm going to go add that and give people time to type any in they might have in the question box as well. So what is your phone policy? Savannah, do we allow phones on Broadreach?
We do not allow phones on Broadreach programs for the most part. Yeah. So when the students arrive in the airport, the student will call you. They'll talk to you, and then our staff will talk to you, and then we collect their phone and passports for the duration of the program. The students will receive their phone back about once a week to make a call home, and then sort of like retrofit that lack of communication that you're probably used to having. We also upload pictures of students daily into a Google Drive, as well as the students take turns writing trip updates. So it's like letters home that get posted every day for you to read. We know that students, may feel some withdrawal from this phone policy, but they're welcome to bring an MP3 player if they need to listen to music, or a camera if they want to take photos. But it really does help the students bond and be in that experiential setting fully.
Yeah, in the student surveys, well, and the parent surveys as well. I think that's one of the top, like, I don't know, the best things that people will say about the program is how much they've actually enjoyed not having their phones with them.
Yes, a nice brain break.
Yeah. What kind of supervision do students have on program?
Yeah, so um, the program sizes vary per program, but generally there are 12 students on a program, and then they will have two Broadreach instructors with them. The Broadreach instructors go through 2 rounds of interviews. They get their references checked, they get a background checked, and that's all before they come to meet us in person for a week-long training. So we get to know them very well before sending them. If it's an academic program, one of them will be an academic. That means they will have a master's in their field, or if they're a veterinarian, they will have their veterinary license. And then the other instructor is what we call an international program instructor. They will be able to speak Spanish if we're in a Spanish-speaking country. And then they will also have a wilderness first responder certification. which is an 80-hour backcountry medicine course that they gain with us or through previous employers. It's overkill most of the time because we are close to hospitals and doctors most of the time, but it is nice for them to have just in case a student needs medical assistance. And on lines of medical assistance for each location that we go to, the staff have an emergency action plan that details out those hospitals, doctors, and transportation options if we needed to get to a place. But because we've been working with our partners for so long, they're also super helpful in these situations for anything that we might need. But safety is definitely always at the forefront of our programs.
And I will say our instructors, having spent, staff training with them over the years, are some of the coolest people I've ever met. And I think about just over 50% of instructors every year are returning, which is great because we already know them. They've led trips before. So it's a really great mix there of awesome people to lead your students.
Yeah,
Right.
they're
We are
great.
at time now. If you have any further questions, like I mentioned, please do feel free to reach out to myself or to Savannah, give us a call or set up a call or a consultation. We'd love to talk to you about our trips, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so
Yeah,
much for
thanks.
joining.
Thanks for joining. We'll talk to y'all soon.